I'm here at BGG.CON 2014, sitting with Ralph as the designer of his recently published game, Chimera, with Z-Man Games.
Yes, thank you, Phoebe. Yeah, Chimera comes in a nice little box like this. Beautiful art on the game. There we go.
Okay.
It is a three-player card game, 3 players only, and it's going to be 2 against 1 on each hand of play, and you're scoring points during each hand, and you're playing to 300, 400, 500, depending on how long the game you want. The idea of the game is very similar to several other games, but you're trying to be the person to get rid of all your cards first. And by getting rid of all your cards first, you'll score points. There are also points that you'll score during the game just for taking a trick. So if you take a trick with 2s or 11s in it, each one of the 2s is worth 10 points, and each one of the 11s is worth 5 points. So that's 40, 50, 60 points. And Phoebe, my lovely assistant here, will hold up the cards. So that's one way to get points, and if you take those cards, no matter what, you score them. Now, the way the game works is at the beginning of the game there will be a bid to determine who will be the Chimera. The Chimera has the potential to make his bid doubled, or if he doesn't make his bid by going out first, then he'll lose his bid. So it's a low risk, high reward. Plus, in addition, the Chimera will be able to get 25-point bonuses for certain things that happen in the game. So, the way the game works is whoever's the Chimera will start the game by playing a combination of cards. They're all listed handily inside. If you know the game Tishu, it's similar but different. But basically, there's about 10 combinations of cards. You can play a single card. If you play a single card, then for the entire round until somebody wins the trick, which means everybody else passes, you can play a higher card to try and win the trick. It goes 1 through 12, and those are the numbered cards. Higher than 12 are the heroes. Higher than the heroes is the Pia, which is one of the Chimeras. And higher than and the highest card of all is the Chimera itself. That's for single cards. Note there's only one of each of the Chimeras, so that they will only be the top card once in the trick, and you're going to play several rounds of tricks. The heroes, there's 4 in everything else, so that's 13 is 52, plus 2 is 54 cards. So since it's a 3-player game, that means everybody has 17 cards, is 51. The Chimera will also pick up a kitty of 3 cards that he don't know what they are, so it could be good, could be bad, that he'll add to his hand, so he'll have 20 cards to get rid of. But he's also got more cards, which helps make combinations. So, you can play single cards. The suits don't matter in this game, by the way. They're there to look pretty, and for card counters, or people are used to having suits, so it looks nice. So, you can also play pairs, then you'd have to play a higher pair in order to beat it. These would be the highest possible pair, because these are only single cards. You can also play running pairs. You have to have at least 6 cards, so I'd need to have a couple of 3s to go with that. So I could play that all as one thing. In order to beat it, well, that's not a 3. Where'd it go? There it is. You would have to play another sequence of 3 cards, like 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, or higher. Note that the heroes can't be used on a sequence because they don't have a number on them. So that limits their power. Even though they're the highest thing for single, double, triple, or 4, they're not high enough for straights, for sequences. You can also play trips, so you can play 3 of a kind. What would beat that? A higher 3 of a kind, and then these again would be good. You can also play 3 of a kind running, so you would have to have 2 sets, so 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 2. Then you'd have to have something like 11, 11, 11, 12, 12, 12 would beat that. You play that all at once. Again, these can't combine with 12s to make a sequence because they don't have a number on them. So now they're out of the business. So the power shifts depending on what the high cards are based on what type of combination you're playing. Other combinations you can throw away, you can play 3 cards with any odd card, 3 cards with a pair, and those can also be done as sequences. So I could play 1, 1, 1 with a 3, 2, 2, 2 with an 11. Those cards don't matter as long as they don't match. So I can play sequences of those cards. I can do the same thing, 3 of a kind with 2 cards, and I can play 3 of a kind with pairs as well as running things. So that's almost all of them, but wait, there's more. You can also play a straight. So where'd my threes go? There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That has to be at least 5 cards, but it could go all the way up to 12. And then people would have to play the exact same length of straight higher. Of course, if you end in 12, no one will be able to beat it because this can't be used in a straight. But that's where the special power of the Pia comes in. It can substitute for a card. So it makes it a little easier to make some of these runs or longer runs. Then the last thing you need to know is that you can play 4 of a kind. 4 of a kind can be played on, it doesn't have to follow the combination rule. So whatever they played, you can play 4 of a kind on it, and now only 4 of a kinds can be played, and the highest one will win. You can't play it over a higher one. And so that's called a trap, but there's a danger in the traps. For every trap played, that's potentially another 25 points that the Chimera can make if he goes out first. Only the Chimera can make it, and only if he goes out first. So you play this to try and go out first, but if you don't, then you might be giving points to the other player. So that's that. There is a super trap, we call it the Chimera Flight. If you play both of the Chimeras together, that's the highest thing you can play on any sequence. It's just like a trap in all other respects. It's just the absolute highest one, and it's only 2 cards, and it also gives a 25-point bonus. There's also a 25-point bonus if one or both partners don't play any cards to the trick. If a Chimera goes out without one of them playing a card, that's another 25 points. So you played a 300. The way you deal is also interesting. I know there's a lot of things there, but believe me, after 2 or 3 hands and having the chart next to you, it's not so hard. It's singles, pairs, trips, 4 of a kind, straights, and then some attached cards. So the last thing you can do is after you've shuffled the cards for the next hand, you cut, you turn over a card, you deal 3 to the Chimera's den or the kitty, then you deal 17 cards to every player, and whoever ends up with the cut card, you deal them normally, but whoever ends up with the cut card, which hit over
somewhere, there it is.
There it is. That player would bid first.
Okay.
The bids are 20, 30, or 40. You can pass. If 2 people pass consecutively, you win the bid. Or if you bid 40, then there's no further bidding. You've won it. You would get the kitty. These players, if the bid was 20, they don't pass a card. If the bid was 30, they each would pass 1 card secretly to each other. And if it's 40, they'd pass 2, which helps them try and stop the Chimera. And then you play successive hands until somebody has got the most points. It's been fantastic hearing people enjoying this game. It's very much in the spirit of Tishu, but it's 3 players only, and it's a very cutthroat game because even if you're partners with someone trying to stop the Chimera, there's those lovely point cards that come out that you want to get. So even though your partner might be winning the trick, you say, well, I want to snag those. So there's some rivalry there as well. So that's it, Chimera.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you for